talk about two of the most jaw-dropping physiques to ever step on a bodybuilding stage, Markus Ruhl and Paul Dillett. Both men redefined what it meant to be a masked monster, each in their own terrifyingly unique way. Markus Ruhl, hailing from Germany, is one of the most iconic examples of freak factor in bodybuilding history. He didn't just bring size, he brought unreal density. His shoulders looked like bowling balls taped to a brick wall. His chest was so thick and wide, it looked like you could land a plane on it. And his arms, somewhere between monstrous and cartoonish. But Markus wasn't just about sheer size. His conditioning was actually underrated. He didn't always hit it perfectly, but when he was on, he had that grainy, dense look that made him look carved out of granite. Flip the script to Paul Dillett. The man was nicknamed Freakenstein, and for good reason. Standing 6 feet 1 inch, Paul was one of the tallest top-tier bodybuilders of his era. But what made him stand out wasn't just his height, it was how freaky his proportions were. Insanely wide clavicles, waist like a wasp, and muscle bellies that looked like they were inflated with an air pump. Some of the most alien-looking muscle insertions ever seen. His delts, chest, and arms were so full, they didn't even look real. And on stage, he commanded attention just by standing still. When he hit a front double biceps, it looked like a CGI render. But there's a key difference in their approach. Markus was a grinder. His training was brutal, mechanical, and relentless. He trained like a machine, heavy weights, low volume, with a focus on constant tension. Think partial range presses and explosive power through the mid-range. Paul, on the other hand, trained more like an athlete. He had a background in football, and his workouts reflected that intensity. Explosive compound movements, high-volume supersets, and a lot of variation. He also famously suffered from extreme cramping due to a condition called compartment syndrome, which ultimately limited his career. But when he was on, he was as visually dominant as anyone in the 90s. Now let's compare two shoulder workouts to show the contrast. Markus Ruhl, shoulder day example, Smith machine. Shoulder press, 4 sets of 8 to 10 heavy partial reps. Dumbbell side lateral raise, 4 sets of 10 to 12 reverse pec deck flies. 3 sets of 10 to 12, 12 to 15. Barbell front raise, 3 sets of 10. Straightforward, brutal, and all about thickening every angle of the delt with massive loads in tight form. Paul Dillett, shoulder day. Example, standing military press, 4 sets of 10 to 12. Seated dumbbell lateral raise, 4 sets of 12 to 15. Behind the neck Smith press, 3 sets of 10. Dumbbell bent over rear delt raise, 3 sets of 15 upright rows superset with plate front raises. 3 rounds, more variety, more volume, more attention to shaping and hitting all 3 heads of the shoulder from multiple angles. In terms of stage presence, both had a commanding look, but very different styles. Markus hit his poses with brutal intensity. No grace, just sheer dominance. Paul had more of a statuesque elegance to his physique. He looked like a Greek god reimagined by a comic book artist. But neither man ever won the Olympia. Markus never placed higher than 5th at the Olympia, despite having some of the biggest shoulders and chests the sport has ever seen. Paul placed as high as 4th, but his career was plagued by health issues and consistency problems with conditioning. Still, both men left a legacy. Markus is remembered for being one of the most massive and unapologetically freaky bodybuilders of all time. He showed that freak factor could be taken to absurd extremes and still be competitive. Paul Dillett, on the other hand, is often cited as one of the greatest physiques never to win a major title. He was a prototype, a blueprint for what would later become the modern freak aesthetic. So which one had the better physique? That depends on what you value. Markus had the raw density, that industrial-level muscle packed into every inch of his frame. Paul had the flow, the illusion, and that impossible combination of size and symmetry when he nailed his conditioning. 2 legends, 2 mutants, 2 men who broke the mold and left the bodybuilding world staring in disbelief. Who do you think had the most insane shoulders of all time?